Okay, I have no idea if this is working, but I'm going to give it a shot one time just to see. Basically, I didn't get to finish the lesson because we ran out of time, and I did want to really briefly attack question part B that asks you how to find intercepts. So I'm hoping that by live streaming this, one, I'm testing out whether or not I can live stream, and two, I'm actually going to have a permanent record of what I'm recording. So we want to find the intercepts of that relation, so I'll put that over here as part B. And what that means is we want to find both the x-intercepts and the y-intercepts. So we're trying to find both of those two for this particular relation. And obviously now that we've solved for y, you might be able to just plug in that way and work it through that way. But that's not actually what I want to do. I want to actually use this original version of the equation because it's going to be much simpler to actually solve from. Trust me on this. So let's see what happens here. And maybe there's not an intercept. We'll see if I maybe mess something up now that I'm trying to do this live. So in looking at each of these pieces, let me get a color here for the y-intercept. I'll do orange. I'll do green for the first one. So if we want to find the x-intercept, it's important to remember that an x-intercept has coordinates x or some number, comma 0. In other words, what that means is that our y-coordinate is equal to 0. What we're going to do then is we're going to take this relation that we have, this equation, this implicit relation in terms of both x and y, and we're going to plug in y equals 0. So we have 5x squared y. Well, that's going to become 5x squared times y equals 0. Minus 7 root x equals 11 times 0, and then plus 2. So basically we've substituted in y equals 0 for each of these. Now we can simplify and see what our equation turns out to say. This is going to be minus 7 root x is equal to 2. And then if I divide both sides by negative 7, that's going to give me that the square root of x is equal to negative 2 over 7. So interestingly enough here, we have the square root of x equals negative number. And unfortunately, this is a positive square root. So a positive square root is not going to equal that negative number. Sure, you could go through and you could square both sides and get 4 over 49. But unfortunately, that's not actually going to give us the value that we're looking for. It'll give us an extraneous answer, a fake answer, if you will. So from here, this tells me that there is no x-intercept. There simply is no point where this relation actually crosses the x-axis. So nice to know, we have no x-intercept. That works out really nicely. On the flip side, we can try the y-intercept. And following that same strategy, a y-intercept is going to be when the x-coordinate is 0. So in other words, we want to see what happens in the same relation if we plug in x equals 0. So going up to our relation this time, we're going to replace all the x's with zeros. So that's going to be 5 times 0 squared times y, minus 7 times the square root of 0, and all equals 11y plus 2. Now, interestingly enough, everything on the left side has gone to 0, so we have that 0 equals 11y plus 2. And if we want to solve this, we can subtract 2 over to the other side. We'll get that negative 2 is equal to 11y, or y is equal to negative 2 over 11. So our y-intercept in this case, we do have a y-intercept. Our y-intercept is going to be the ordered pair 0, comma negative 2 over 11. And so it works out pretty nicely. We have our y-intercept, no x-intercept. I'm actually curious though, does this actually show up? Is this true if we go on Desmos and actually graph this relation out? Because Desmos has that special ability to look at implicit relations. So let's go back. Here we go in Desmos. We had as our relationship here, get rid of the graph we looked at in class, 5x squared y. Oops. Notice it stuck it in the numerator, or in the exponent. We've had that happen a couple times. 7 square root of x equals 11y plus 2. So let's see what we got here. Did this do anything for us? So I don't see, oh, it's not graphing. That's why. Okay, so looking at this, we did say that there was a y-intercept. It says it's at negative 0.182. I wonder if that's negative 2 over 11. Look at that, 0.182. So that works out really nicely. As far as our x-intercept, we were going to see if it crossed the x-axis anywhere. And you know what? It looks like it's getting really close to it, but it does not seem like it's actually going to cross anywhere. So I'm thinking we did this correctly. If you wanted to try to confirm why it is that it's not going to actually cross, there are lots of different ways you could get there, but throwing a little bit of calculus at you, you could see what the limit is as this value approaches 0, and you'd see that the degree of the denominator is too large to allow for this to actually cross 0. So in other words, we did find this correctly. There is no x-intercept, and there is a single y-intercept at 0, comma negative 2 over 11. So having said that, that's going to complete this streaming. If it even worked, I may have just completely wasted my time trying to talk about this, but I was really eager to give it another shot because last night I was just pressing the buttons to see what would happen. So thanks for watching, and hopefully that was helpful. Have a good day.